Hi guys. So I had some thoughts this morning while I was cleaning and I wanted to talk about them. And it has to do with parenting. So if you're a parent, you probably will like to watch this. But I was just reflecting on how you really are winning at parenting when your kids tell you, I'm upset, I'm angry. Like they tell you, why are you so mad? Why are you angry? Why are you raising your voice? Are you mad at me? Or I saw one story of a guy talking about the same thing, and he was talking about how his son was like, why are you being an asshole? And the dad stopped, and he like didn't lose his temper, whereas his dad would have gone ballistic, right? And that's when he knew, like he had, he's doing a good job. And I relate so much to that. How many times I've had to stop myself from just like reacting, because I feel like so many of our parents, like we were raised, or our grandparents, or whoever raised you, like we were raised to obey, to do what I say because I said it, because I say so, right? To never challenge authority, to never disobey. And while I understand the motive behind that, it breeds this environment where the child can't be honest with you. They lie to you. They, conceal things. They manipulate things and people and situations because they feel like they have to. And I feel like when we're parents, we have such a huge responsibility to create an environment and a relationship where there is honesty, there's transparency, there's empathy and compassion. It's not just do what I say because I said so. Where, like, I understand a lot of men probably feel that way, and maybe like people can disagree with me, and maybe this is part of my role as a mother to be tender and compassionate, and that's just how I choose to parent. But I've seen it pay off already. My oldest is 12, my middle is 10, and my youngest is 7. And I already see it. And my son came into the art room yesterday, and he was like on the verge of tears. And I asked him what's wrong, and he immediately told me. I didn't have to pry it out of him. He didn't have to hide it from me. He came to me to express his feelings. And that is so huge, because do you know how many kids hide everything from their parents? Even the neighborhood kids tell me stuff. They're like, I don't even tell my own mom this stuff because like I can't. And I'm grateful they have someone to tell and whatever, but it's like, it reminds me, like, when you are too strict with your kids, you don't let them do stuff, you set all kinds of crazy rules and stuff, they're gonna hide, they're gonna lie, they're not gonna tell you stuff, they're not gonna be honest with you. They could have a whole world of stuff happening in their world and they won't tell you because it's not safe to do so. And this is something I've learned in my journey so much, is like I grew up like that. I didn't tell my grandparents anything. That was not that relationship. It was do as I say, or just, you know what I mean? And so thankfully, I'm like a good kid. I didn't like do anything crazy. Although I did get caught for stealing food from lunch boxes in middle school. I have a whole thing around food. I was always wanting food when I was little. But yeah, so it's just, I feel like we have this huge responsibility to create this environment for our kids where they feel safe enough to express their needs, their desires, their feelings, their true feelings to us. And that's one thing in my relationship. Like, some people might look down on it when I'm parenting my kids, and maybe I say something and my daughter's like immediately expresses her anger or frustration. She doesn't go to her room and hide it from me. She does it right there. Is it upsetting to me sometimes? Is it triggering to me sometimes? Absolutely. Because I was never raised in that environment. Like, so it challenges me too. And it's like, I just gotta recenter, rebalance, and remember not to react. To just pause, even for a couple seconds, to let your nervous system calm down before you react. Don't react, you respond, right? There's a difference. Reacting is just flying off the handle, not thinking, and then you regret it, right? You yell and you regret it. Responding is you took a couple breaths, You value this relationship, you value, you know, them respecting you, not losing your cool, and you respond instead. And when you respond instead of react, you keep laying that foundation of trust and connection with your kids. And that's something I treasure in my life. I want my kids to grow up and know that I'm always on their side. I'm always rooting for them. I'm cheering for them. And they can tell me anything they need to tell me, and I will never judge them. I will never make them feel less than for having feelings, you know? And yeah, so if you're a parent and your kids challenge you, they voice their frustration, they say, "Mom, you make me so mad," whatever, I feel like that's a good thing. Because how many kids, you know, I'm sorry, I'm not like trying to judge anybody or anything, but like kids get bullied at school and they never tell their parents. And I have to wonder why. Why were they unable to tell you this most deeply painful stuff? And I get it. Some kids just won't. No matter what kind of environment you create, they will keep it to themselves. Like, everybody's so unique and so different. But I just feel like that is one thing, especially when our kids grow up and they become middle schoolers, teenagers. Things get really complicated. Romance enters the picture. Girls, boys, bullying, friend groups. Social media is a whole new beast now too. The kids have phones and everything. So it's just absolutely vital to talk to your kids, to let them know you are a safe space, you know, and challenge your own programming, your own attitudes about parenting. Like, I understand we want to be the boss and we want to be like, you do as I say, and like, I'm up here and you're down here, but like, I don't really see it. Like, we're both humans, we're both people. I know I'm still the parent, I understand that, I get that, but it's just this very delicate balance of, yes, I'm the parent, but you can still talk to me. Yes, I'm the parent, but you can still tell me what's going on in your mind. You know, I've just seen it with like the neighborhood friends. They tell me, you know, they're dating somebody, but their parents don't even know. Like, can you imagine having to hide that? And I'm so grateful, me and my husband, like, we always talk about that with our kids. We kind of like joke. I'm like, you have a boyfriend yet? You got a girlfriend yet? Like, they know they can talk to us about it. We're not like, no, you can't date. No, you can't have feelings. No, you can't do this. Because you know, kids, you know yourself. Somebody tells you no, what are you going to do? You're going to go do it. You're going to want to do it even more. So, just creating an open atmosphere. Yeah, so I just want to encourage all the parents, you know, if your kids have big feelings, if they have strong willpower, it's probably a good thing. Nurture that. They're going to be great leaders one day. They're going to be people that other people look up to. They're going to be really compassionate and, you know, just good people. Because I feel like when we try to impose our will on people, it often backfires. They end up sneaking out. They end up lying. They end up in terrible situations. And can you imagine if you told your kid not to do something, which I understand that's going to happen, and they're probably going to, no matter what kind of environment you create, sometimes they're probably going to still do these things. But it's like, there was a situation once where I snuck out, because it was like rules, like I couldn't leave or whatever, so I snuck out anyway. And I ended up in a situation where I slept on the porch because I was too scared to call and be like, hey, XYZ. Like, imagine your kid out in a shitty situation and they're too scared to call you. That just sounds like a nightmare. Like, please God, whatever it is, call me. I don't care. I don't care what it is, call me. I'm not going to scream at you. Maybe, you know, maybe I'll be upset or whatever, but like, I have enough self-control and I'm not going to take it out on you and make your situation 10 times worse when we can all just take a breath and handle it, you know? And yeah, so I feel like as parents, we had this huge responsibility / opportunity to change the trajectory of the lineage that comes after us. We always hear this rhetoric, like these things, ending generational curses, blah, blah, blah. Well, are you really? Like, are you actually? Instead of just saying it, Like, it's huge. Like, the foundation we set for our kids, the way they're raised, they're going to carry that into how they raise their kids probably a little bit. And you're really actually changing the genetic, not sorry, maybe genetic, but the ancestral, like, lineage from here on out. You know, how they're going to raise their kids and so on and so forth. So all these little things you think they don't really matter that much, they do matter. They matter a lot. More than you probably ever realize. And I feel like eventually when your kids get older, you're really going to see the cumulative effect of all the blood, sweat, and tears you poured into these children, this parenthood journey, this, you know, being a mother, being a father, being a parent. And yeah, it's really amazing. Your kids having the courage to express the full range of their emotions in front of you is huge. And that's why, like, a lot of people say mothers, like, they see a whole different world, like a whole different side of their kids, compared to like other people, like they're 800 times worse in front of their mom. That's because the mom allows for space for all of the emotions, good, bad, sad, mad, all of them, right? Kids don't express all those if they don't feel safe to do so. They will limit that spectrum to just, you know, a few. So of course they're better for grandma and grandpa, they're better for the dad, they're better in other people's care. As soon as you get them, whoosh, all the emotions come out. Be glad for that. Be grateful for that. Know that you are their safe space. I know it's a lot to handle sometimes, and you get triggered, you get flustered, but remember this. Remember what a gift it is that you're creating this kind of relationship with your kids, even if you didn't have it, even if you had zero example of this, and you're creating it out of thin air. Go, mama, go. I love you.